Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing day number 3 of training camp for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We are yet again getting this information over at Buccaneers.com. Greg Auman and Pewter Report. I will have the links to all their stuff down in the pinned comment down in the comments section down below. If you guys are new, go ahead and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. If you do like these types of videos, go ahead and hit that like button. You guys have been absolutely knocking it out of the park in the past couple of videos, and that is greatly appreciated. But it was yet again another hot day today here in Florida. I can attest to that because I'm here, and yeah, it was hot, it was humid. The team actually did have to go inside for a portion of practice to cool down from the heat. Arians said after practice that this was to simulate halftime in a game. You know, there's a halftime period for practice, there's a halftime period for the game. Sure, why not? In terms of roster moves, there is nothing to report right now. And then in terms of the players who were out of this practice, Raven Green is still out, OJ Howard's still doing some light work. Antonio Brown is back in some capacity. He's been doing some individual drills, but he is still recovering from a knee procedure that he had back in May. Jordan Whitehead still on the illness list. Everybody that we have talked about on the PUP list, they're still on the PUP list. But here's a couple of positives. Antoine Winfield Jr. is back and Tyler Johnson is back. But then on the flip side, on the more curious note here, Ndamukong Suh was not practicing today, and I don't believe Chris Godwin was either. Now, I don't think this is a big deal. Nobody seemed to be freaking out like it was a big deal. Could be a vet day, could be them just getting a little bit of rest, who knows? I would not be concerned with it. They were still out there, and they were still, you know, watching practice. So, again, it might just be a vet day. Whatever it may be, you know, I don't think it'll be a big deal. I think they could be back as early as tomorrow's practice. But with that being said, let's get into some of the notes that we have here. First things first, Bruce Arians thought it was a really good, balanced practice where both the defense and the offense had good battles against each other. And this is exactly what you want to see in a training camp. The offense making the defense better, the defense making the offense better, and just iron sharpening iron. You love to hear and see these types of things. Also, Bruce Arians has been very impressed overall with every player on this defense, saying that the backups have actually been playing better than the starters. He also said that this is the last day where the backups and starters would be separated. So this creates some very interesting situations here, right? First things first is the Buccaneers have a lot of depth apparently on defense. That's a great thing. You can never have too many good players, and yes, it will make some difficult decisions for Bruce Arians, Jason Light and company, but again, you can never have too many good players, and it seems like the defense is doing a really good job. Everybody's practicing well, and you love to see that. But I can't wait to see how some of these backups are going to do versus the starters. We've already seen that a little bit in terms of some of the offensive starters going up against some of the Buccaneers defensive starters, and that's been a very interesting thing to watch. Somebody we'll talk about here in a moment, but overall, yeah, I just can't wait to see these two fields kind of smash together and just see what happens, right? I think it will be a lot of fun. Jaydon Mickens, Jaelon Darden, and Scotty Miller all fielded punts during practice and worked on punt protection. We already knew that Jaydon Mickens and Jaelon Darden were going to work as returners. Scotty Miller's been a guy that a lot of people have been clamoring for to be a returner, and he has seen some opportunities there. But I think when everything's said and done, Scotty Miller's going to be that backup guy, and then Jaydon Mickens and Jaelon Darden are going to be the two main guys battling out for those starting returning duties. Speaking more on Jaelon Darden, we talk about him a lot during these videos, by the way, but Jaelon Darden versus Carlton Davis is a matchup that's been going pretty strong throughout the first 3 days of training camp. It's been pretty even as Darden has won some, Davis has won some. He actually got a pass breakup on Jaelon Darden today, so good job for Carlton Davis. But yeah, it's been honestly just a phenomenal thing to watch considering Jaelon Darden in his rookie year, by the way, is going up against the Buccaneers' starting cornerbacks. A secondary, mind you, that Pro Football Focus had ranked in the top 10 at number 8 going into the upcoming 2021 season. Jaylon Darden's going up against the Buccaneers' best cornerback, and he's actually winning reps against him. Now, that's not a knock on Carlton Davis, because Jaylon Darden's been doing this kind of stuff the entirety of the offseason. I've talked about it before, I'll say it again. Whatever training camp it may be. You know, you look at mandatory minicamp, rookie minicamp, OTAs, Darden's been beating everybody, and he's continuing to do that in training camp against Carlton Davis. Again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' #1 cornerback. So, kudos to Darden. You know, he's definitely on an insane pace. He keeps on turning heads, and he keeps on making people pay attention to him, and it's great. It's great, and I think that Carlton Davis is one of the perfect guys to go up against Darden and really teach the young guy, you know, what it means to go up against one of the top corners in the NFL, because that's what I feel Carlton Davis is. Talking next about another Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver, Tyler Johnson was back, as I mentioned, and he was having yet again another good day of practice. He's stringing these good days together. He didn't practice yesterday, unfortunately, but he has had good chemistry with Tom Brady and was able to make multiple connections with him on great plays during practice today, which is great. You know, Tyler Johnson's another wide receiver that a lot of people have been clamoring for. And, you know, overall, it's going to be so interesting to see what in the world happens with this wide receiver core, because there's so many good guys doing so many good things. You can't play all of them, right? You can't just have 6 wide receivers out there and just go. I mean, I guess you technically could, but it's not recommended. So, you know, how is this all going to shake up? We're going to have to wait and see, because it's getting very interesting. Like, Jaylon Darden and Tyler Johnson are making plays, as is Scotty Miller. So, I mean, it's just going to be fascinating to watch and see what happens with that wide receiver room. Going back to Jaylon Darden, he also made more good catches in today's practice, having a great catch in the end zone from Blaine Gabbert. And Bruce Arians actually had this to say about Darden after practice. Yeah, he's going to keep flashing, just let him grow. That's why he's out there with Tom Brady and those guys. He's learning you don't just run, get the head around, because that ball is already in the air. He knows how to get open, and it's just letting him finish now. I mean, it seems like Jaylon Darden's route running, I don't want to I don't want to jump the gun here or say anything, too prematurely, but Jaylon Darden might be one of the better route runners on the team already in his rookie year. It just sounds like he is just going up against absolutely everybody and just cleaning house in terms of his route running. So, again, I don't want to say anything too prematurely. I'm not going to say that Jaylon Darden is one of the best route runners on the team right now, but it certainly seems like it might be trending more in that direction the more we see of the young wide receiver. And Bruce Arians has given him a lot of credit. They're giving him time with Tom Brady, for goodness sakes. I mean, yeah, Darden's got a lot going for him right now. D. Delaney had an interception off of Kyle Trask on a deep ball today. Good job for D. Delaney. And I know people are going to yet again comment and say, James, you keep on, saying negative. Well, I know you keep on talking about some negative things with Kyle Trask. What is going on here? Has he just been terrible? No, I don't think Kyle Trask has been terrible. I think he's been up and down, which is expected of a rookie quarterback. But listen to what Bruce Arians had to say about Trask after practice. He's done a real good job on the other field. Just for reference here, Kyle Trask has been working with the 3rd and 4th stringers over on the 2nd practice field. Now, again, this is the last day where that is going to be a thing, so Kyle Trask will be mixing in with some of the starters here coming up very soon. But again, he's done a real good job on the other field. He's still learning when it's this fast. He's not used to seeing it this fast, especially in that 2-minute drill or that last period, but he's growing. He's in no hurry, which, I mean, I think everybody can agree with that. Kyle Trask is not in a hurry. He's got a couple of years to develop, and I've said it so many times now in so many videos, he's got a great cast around him. He's got a great group of teachers, and yeah, he will make some mistakes, guys. He'll throw some interceptions. Not every quarterback can be Tom Brady and be immaculate and, just wonderful. Not everybody can be the GOAT. There's only one GOAT. So, overall, Trask having some minor hiccups here early on is no problem to me. He's playing like a rookie quarterback, and that's what we should expect. He's going to have plenty of time to develop, much like what Bruce Arians said. He's growing, and he is in no hurry. So, he'll be good, Let's just be patient and give him some time and understand what his role on this team is right now, which is developmental quarterback who's going to be learning from Tom Brady, Blaine Gabbert, and Ryan Griffin a little bit. Moving on now back to the defensive side of the football, Vita Vea and Joe Tryon combined to show good pass rushing skills during practice. Vita Vea was also able to track down Ronald Jones after he made a catch. I couldn't find the exact quote, but after practice, Vita Vea talked about how Joe Tryon, basically to paraphrase here, is going to be a very good player for this defense. He's going to be fast, he's going to be good, and Vita Vea has a lot of confidence in Joe Tryon, which is good. They both went to the same college together. I don't know if they played together. I don't believe they did. They might have for one season, but yet again, this is another Buccaneers veteran giving, props to a young rookie. We saw Mike Evans do it with Jaylon Darden. Now we're seeing Vita Vea do it with Joe Tryon. I mean, these rookies are all in a good spot to learn from some great guys. I mean, and I know what you would think is like, oh, well, Joe Tryon's an edge rusher, right? Of course, he'll be learning from Shaq, Barrett, and, Jason Pierre-Paul, but what can he learn from Vita Vea? I still think there's a lot that Joe Tryon can learn about from Vita Vea. How to be a pro, how to be a professional athlete in the NFL, those are the types of things, speed, how to beat inside. Oh, there's definitely some things that Vita Vea can teach Joe Tryon, I believe. So, very cool for him to give Joe Tryon his seal of approval, and I'm going to be very excited to watch those guys team up in the regular season as well for pass rushing. I think it's going to be awesome. Mike Evans made multiple good catches today with Tom Brady against Carlton Davis. Now, I do want to say, not to knock Carlton Davis because, Jaylon Darden beat, Carlton Davis on some plays. Mike Evans beat Carlton Davis. What's going on with Carlton Davis? Carlton Davis is still, very good in coverage. He had good coverage on these plays, but Mike Evans is just Mike Evans. It's just what he does. He does Mike Evans things. Now, Bruce Arians talked about Mike Evans after practice today and about him being a step ahead of everybody else, and this is what he had to say. That's Mike. He should be, he should be a step above everybody else. He's all pro. If he wasn't, I'd be really concerned. Some of these guys didn't train in this humidity. Mike's one of these guys. He gets there, and I'm really pleased with where he's at. Yeah, Mike Evans is Mike Evans. He's on a Hall of Fame caliber pace, and he's great. We all know this. So I'm not going to knock Carlton Davis. Even against Jaylon Darden, I won't knock him because Jaylon Darden just seems to be beating absolutely everybody he goes up against. So I still think Carlton Davis is doing a wonderful job. I still think he's a lockdown #1 corner. He's just going up against some really good wide receivers. And overall, he's had his good moments in practices as well. Will Golston had a good day, blocking 2 passes at the line of scrimmage. A kind of hidden talent he has, by the way, during the regular season. He's been able to do that in games where he gets an arm up, bats down a pass. I feel like I've seen that in years past with Will Golston. Even last year, I think he was doing it. So, good of him to do that. It's a nice talent to have, force an incompletion. Hey, we'll take it. So good job to Will Golston there. Really still an underrated guy along the defensive line. He really does do some good work with Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. And I'm happy he's getting, a little bit more recognition because he does deserve it. KJ Britt had sustained some type of minor injury that caused him to limp off the field, but Greg Auman said that he looked to be okay. So I'm going to assume it's a very minor thing and he should be back up with relative quickness. So hopefully KJ Britt does get better there. Few more notes. Cyril Grayson had a pretty good day, making great catches from both Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert. Of course, Tom Brady is doing Tom Brady things, but Blaine Gabbert's kind of strung together a few nice practices here in a row. It seems like he's pretty much entrenched as the backup, and it seems like, again, that quarterback room is going to be Tom Brady at the 1, Gabbert at the 2, and then Trask at the 3, much like what everybody thought it was going to be. But hey, good job, Cyril Grayson. Ross Cockrell still got work at safety for the 3rd day in a row, and that does kind of create some unique opportunities for all those guys who are battling for that 5th cornerback job. Cameron Kinley, Herb Miller, Nate Brooks, D. Delaney, who actually had an interception today. Again, all these guys are battling with each other, and with Ross Cockrell not being there at that 4th cornerback spot, you're getting guys who now are kind of in 2 cornerback spots right now. It takes away a guy at that cornerback room, which gives, all those 5th cornerback guys chances to show what they can do and give them more reps, which I think is good, I think is needed. And let's see if they can make the most of those opportunities. Again, I really think it's still anybody's ball game at this point. Everybody's had some good, everybody's had some bad. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Final couple of notes here. No word on how Khalil Davis did in practice today, but Bruce Arians did give his thoughts on him after practice, saying, when we put the pads on, get to the quarterback, stop the run, he did a pretty good job last year. That's some hellacious competition going on in those 4, 5, 6, 7 roles. So, yeah, we've talked about this. There's a lot of competition for those backup D-line jobs, but Khalil Davis, you know, hopefully he can make the most of his opportunities here, do a little bit of some good stuff in pass rush. We talked about Jeremiah Ledbetter recently as well. He's looking in great shape, and he's looking ready to go, but Bruce Arians is giving his nod of approval to Khalil Davis. Now, that isn't to say that he isn't giving a nod of approval to the other guys. He was asked specifically about Khalil Davis, but Bruce Arians says he's doing good, and that's the momentum in the young player's favor. And then finally, one of the last guys that Bruce Arians had talked about was actually outside linebacker Ladarius Hamilton, who we've really not talked about a ton during the entirety of these offseason programs, but Bruce Arians said this: strong, active, good at the point. He's working on his pass rush moves, but he's got some stuff. So maybe Ladarius Hamilton will be a practice squad guy. Maybe he'll push a guy like Cam Gill or Quentin Bell for one of those backup edge rushing spots. If they do decide to keep that many edge rushers, we'll have to wait and see. But again, shout out to Ladarius Hamilton, good young guy, and let's see what he can do and develop in terms of his pass rushing skills. But overall, guys, that's it. That's it for this day of training camp. What are your guys' thoughts about all the notes that I talked about? Let me know down in the comments section below. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you at tomorrow's training camp. I will actually be there at training camp with Rhett from the Cannon Fire podcast to watch and take some notes on who's doing some good things. So I'm very excited to see some of you guys there, and let's all have a fun time and watch the Buccaneers practice together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.